All right, so we're going to get going. Welcome everybody to the Inspect Real Estate to Apply interface refresh. So part of today's session, we've got a little bit of housekeeping that I'll run through with you. So just advising that we're going to be running through the to apply refresh with everybody. Now, we understand that a new interface can be a little bit scary. So um, we're going to run through that and just make sure that everybody's comfortable with the new interface. So hi, everybody. For those who have just joined, my name is Amanda. I'm one of the training consultants here at Inspect Real Estate Reapert. And on the panel this afternoon, we've got our team of trainers. We've got Alex, we've got Kim, Anna, um, and Will, and they're going to be assisting with the questions that you might have. So you will see that we have a chat box available. I can also see them there, but if you do have any questions, the team will be there answering them for you as well. So as the old UI has gone through its sunset on the 6th of December, we're thrilled to have you here for this exciting webinar as we walk through the new and improved to apply interface. So change can sometimes feel daunting, but it also brings exciting opportunities and growth. At Inspect Real Estate, we're committed to making your experience smooth, efficient, and user-friendly as possible. The new to apply interface has a completely refreshed, streamlined, and enhanced usability, making it simpler and more intuitive than ever before. So this update is designed to save you time and make managing applications effortless. You still have the same capabilities like the old interface, but to find them, they are in different locations. So we'll run through that today. As mentioned, part of the housekeeping here. If you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Our team are there happy to answer any questions and they'll monitor them throughout the session. We'll also have some interactive polls that I'd love for you to get involved in, which is a good way to get you involved and have a little bit of fun. On today's agenda, I'll just grab that up. On today's agenda, we're going to run through some system views and customizations. We're going to look at your settings and messages where they sit. We're going to have a look at the applications and also some owner submissions and where you can submit your applications to your owners. Before we do get going though, we are going to run a little poll. So let me just bring that up and I'm just going to ask you a question. So let's have a look. Let's launch this poll. So for the team that's on the call, who has used the new to apply interface? Fantastic. You can see those numbers rolling in. Okay, we'll give it another 30 seconds. Okay. So 47% of you have seen the new to apply interface and 53% of you have not. So thank you so much for participating in that poll. What we're going to do now is we'll walk you through the to apply interface and we'll start with our webinar. Okay, so just a little reminder before we get going is we do offer support and help. So throughout change, we do recommend that if you do need further assistance, down the line after today's webinar, on the left-hand side of your Inspect Real Estate, we do have this help section. So if you click down on help, we do have our knowledge base. So I'll just click into the knowledge base so that you can see what that looks like there. And on the left-hand side, you've got applications and to apply. You can see we have an array of different articles that can assist you if you do have any questions about to apply and what to do. We also have our Reapit Academy, which is an online learning center that it's a self-paced if you'd like to try that out. And we also have our webinars, which thank you for joining again. And we've also got the contact us section there if you do need further assistance and help. They can, the support team will be able to assist you. Now, the interface has changed, as you know, and so there's new spots where you can find your settings and messages. So if I just navigate on the left-hand side of our sidebar here, we've got our settings and we have our application settings. So they are now all grouped into different sections here. So under General, we've got our General applications settings. If we scroll down, whether you allow tenants to apply before inspecting. We've got our affordability ratio information here. So that's where you'll be able to view that. On the left-hand side, in your applications, you do have tasks. So based on your office, if you are task-based offices and you'd like tasks embedded in your application as you're processing them, you can add additional tasks, and this is where you can add them in there. You've got your tenancy database checks where you can integrate that, your documentation that's required for your application and the point scoring system. You'll be able to find that on the left-hand side there. And if you are an office that does submit your applications to your owners, on the left-hand side, under the owner PDF, you can create what you want the owner to see. You can select include in the summary or remove. You're probably familiar with this already if you do submit your applications to the owners, but this is where you'll find it. And also your application comparisons. You can tick on or off what you want your owners to see there. Your status rules are sitting in this bucket here. So, you know, upon you changing a status, for example, to paid, clients can get the unsuccessful good message automatically if they were not successful. This is where you can come in and view all of your status rules. Your references, so your automatic references on the left-hand side, you can come in if you haven't already added them in and add in automatic references to go out when an application has been submitted. If you'd like to review your reference questions, under reference questions, this is where you can come in and you can tick on or off what you would like to be asked with those automatic reference questions. Moving along to the to apply bucket, if we just scroll a little bit further down, if you do have inspection codes that you do send out to your clients, this is where you'll find that there. And down below the application details, if you ever wanted to come in and change that, what is required from those tenants when they're submitting the application, you can come in and review them and click save. So that's where you can find that, and that's where it's located. Your opening cautions, required monies, your terms and conditions sit all under the settings, application, and you have your tabs up on the top. Another important part of to apply is your messages. So on the left-hand side under messages, applications, this is where your statuses sit. So you can come in and review your statuses. Same as previously, where you can click edit message and you can start amending your messages and SMSs that are going out, as well as adding in any additional merge fields. Also under your completed status, the paid messages, unsuccessful, good, unsuitable, or whatever other statuses you may have within your system, that's where you can find that there. So just recapping, we were under messages, applications. This is where you can now find your application messages, settings, applications. This is where all of your application settings now sit. Don't forget, we do have our chat box for those who have joined after we launched. If you do have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat. The team are on standby to answer any of your questions. Now, let's have a look at your general navigation. So the navigation into Apply is easy. You have two different views depending on how your office works and their preferences. We're going to show you both areas where applications are located. And the great thing about some new features is that you have the ability to see who has applied with your office previously. You can view past applications at your fingertips. You can view reference checks quite quickly, any notes, and much more. So let's have a look at that. On the left-hand side, under Letting, we have our Applications tab. Now, if you joined our previous webinar with the To Apply interface, we do have our favorites page. So you can add any additional or any application views that you're there most commonly to your favorites page. But when you do click on Letting Applications, it will take you to this Applications tab. And again, depending on the way that your office works, there's two different views. Under this Applications tab, you do have your column chooser where you can rearrange your columns by ticking on, dragging and dropping and clicking Save. And you also have your pin column. So if you'd like to pin particular columns so that when you're scrolling across, you're not losing sight of the information that you've pinned. Up on the top right here, these are our current applications that we have currently in the system. If I flick this to all, I can see all of the applications that I have sitting in the system. So if I wanted to search for a particular application's name, I can do that. Or if I wanted to search by a particular status, say I wanted to have a look at all of my applications in the paid status, I can do a little search here. So these are all the applications I have in my system, all 90 days, and I can click into anywhere on this line and it's going to take me to their application. So that's the first view. So Lettings, Applications, this is, I'll just clear the search up on the left-hand side there. This is where you can see all of the applications that you have in your system. If I click to the left, this is a view that I'd like to save, which is my properties view. Now, depending on your office settings and how your office is set up, I'll just use the example if you have a leasing consultant that does all of your leasing or processing your apps, and then you've got property managers that view the applications, or you might be a property manager that does everything. It's hard for you to remember everything. And part of this properties view, if I click on this particular property here, again, we've got our column chooser up the top where you can rearrange your columns. But if I click on View Apps, this is going to take me to my streamline view. This very quickly shows me where my applications are at in a quick way. So within this page, it's more of a minimalistic feel. We'll be able to see shortlisted applications. So through mobile ROL, you are able to shortlist applicants as they're coming through. You would be able to see it on this particular page. So I'm going to start from left to right and talk about some features within this streamline view. On the left-hand side here, we've got our application ID. And you'll see this little clipboard here. It's called Connected Apps. And the beauty of this is you'll be able to see applications that have been submitted by this particular tenant for any properties that you have had advertised previously. And what's great about this is that you'll be able to work through and see their status. So say, for example, this application has come through, they've applied with me 12 times previously this is a test account, this isn't a real account, but this particular tenant has applied with me 12 times. I could hover over and I can see their statuses quite quickly where they're at. Now, if they were in an unsuitable status and I wanted to view their previous application to see why they were in an unsuitable status, I can actually click on the number and it will take me to their application. Hence why when we get to the activities part of processing, it's really important to make notes within your applications. So connected apps, it's going to show you all the applications that people have previously applied with your agency, and you can click in the app ID and it will take you to their previous application. You'll be able to see very quickly in this streamlined view how many pets, adults, children. If they can afford the property, you can hover over the affordability ratio, how much the rent is, the age of the application, if they would like a 12, 24-month lease, the term of the lease, and when they would like to move in. You can also see the status of the application. So these are all new and they're in the processing status. Nothing's happened with these apps as yet. But what has happened is the automatic references. So if you have automatic references turned on in the back end of your system, applications come in, automatic references go out, and you'll be able to see very quickly what has been received and what has been sent and not returned. If you would like to resend the reference, you can click resend and it will resend the reference to whoever you need that to go to. You can see in this section here, we've got a notes section. So when you are in the application and you start making notes within the application, you'll be able to see notes up to the last 5 notes. And here you can shortlist. So this little heart is shortlisting the application. So say, for example, we have Alison, we've viewed the application and we would like that application to be processed first. You can heart it from this screen. You can also on mobile ROL, if you did shortlist a client that's come through one of your inspections, there is the shortlist button. Now, if you have shortlisted someone from mobile ROL and they apply for the property, it will note here that they've inspected and you will see that they're also shortlisted. To unheart, you just click on the heart again. You do have these 3 dots on the right-hand side. If you needed to hide an application because you don't want it in your view, you can hide it. Click on the 3 dots and you can show the application back in your view. You can add notes from this screen. You can also view the application as a PDF. And this is where we will come a little bit later to show you how to create an ownership summary. So just to recap, I'm just going to click out of here. Where I was under lettings, application, and I was in my properties view, and I've also favorited that so that if I want to come in and click on my apps, I can quickly see where I'm up to with that application. Now, to view the application, simply click on View. So a couple of new things that we're going to see in this particular section. So up on the top here, we do have the property address. Again, the information about the application. So you might be used to seeing everything in stacks in the previous UI. Now you're seeing everything in this one screen. You'll be able to see how much the rent is and also their affordability ratio, which if you needed to calculate something, you can calculate it from here. Up on the right, you can assign the application to a different staff member if you needed to. And under status, this is where you can move along your statuses. Okay. I can just see, sorry, I'll have a look. There's a question that's come through. Okay. There was a question here. Okay, there was a question in regards to at a glance screen. We'll just take one step back. The application address is up on the top here. And I can see someone there is answering those questions. So awesome. We'll move along to the application. So under the application, we were here up on the statuses. This is where you can move through your statuses there. If you would like to view the application as a PDF, just click on View Application, and this is where you can view the application as a PDF. Now, some people still like to see applications on PDFs. If you wanted to, you can download it up on the right-hand side, but within the application, just click on View Application, and you can view the PDF through here. Now you can see in the orange, this is where you're going to find down below the tenant's information, and you've also got the scroll bar here with the applicant info. Now, if you had more than one tenant applying for the property, you'll see their tabs up on the top. So similarly, like your previous applications, this is where you'll find them. They'll all be up on the top here. So in bold, in orange, down below, we know that we're looking at Alison's information. A few new things that you're probably seeing within this screen, like markers checked and flagged. Come back to that in just a moment. On the left-hand side, we've got these icons, and if you hover over, it will tell you exactly what icon you're on. But if it's in orange, you know that you're in the About Me section. So in this About Me section, some new things that you're going to be seeing, you'll be able to see what the tenant has written about themselves, application summaries, and if they've inspected the property. If you needed to add an inspection, you're able to add an inspection from this section. Down below, we can also see the connected apps. So we can see the apps that they have applied for previously, and you can click on View to view those applications. Down below, you have a summary of where they're at with their references. So from this point, you can resend references or send references that have not gone out. We have our occupancy answers that are sitting here. And as I scroll down, you can see now that we're in the house, and that means that we're in their living history. Anywhere in the application where you can see the pencil, you can edit that information. So if I click on that pencil, and if I needed to, add in any information, I can add the information and click Save. If references have been returned, you'll be able to see the returned references. Let me just jump into this one here. Excuse me for switching. But let me have a look. So this one here under the reference summary, we can see what has been completed. And if I scroll down back to the living history, some really key features that are new within the system is we can see down below that these reference answers have been returned. What you will see is what the applicant has answered and what the referee has answered. If there's a discrepancy with any of these, you'll see them in red. So that will quickly flag to you that there might be a discrepancy within the answers. And we've got this cool feature called Generate, and we're going to generate a summary of the reference. So if I click on Generate, we can do a professional, casual, short or long, and click generate, and it's going to generate me a blurb on their returned reference. And if I click save, I can quickly see their answers there. So that's really cool. We're going to come back to this point when we are submitting applications to owners, but just saves you time from typing, right? So click on the generate and it can generate that for you. If we scroll down, we're in the money tab here now. So you can see the $sign, we're in their financials. So anywhere you see this little pencil within to apply, if you click on that, we can edit any information and click save. We can delete. This hard deletes this information. So if you don't want to delete that information, don't delete it. If we need to resend for references, we can do that from here too. And also, if you click on these three dots, we can complete the reference manually. So again, these features, some of these features were in the old UI. This is where you would find them now. So if we needed to call Tom and Jerry Co. because they're taking too long to get back to us, we can click on Complete Manual Reference and it will give us the questions to ask and we can fill that out and click Save. Scrolling along down to the identification, we have our identification sitting along the top. We also have this little eye feature that if we need to view this a little bit bigger to make sure that we've got the correct information on their identification, we can do that. If the client does email you any identification, you can upload. And again, we have our pencil and our three dots where we can edit the information. Once we have viewed all of the documentation, we do have this approve all fields where we're ticking that we've approved all those fields there. Scrolling down the bottom, if they have done any database checks, we'll be able to see that in this view. If they do have pets, we'll be able to see the pet information here now, vehicles, their personal references, emergency contacts, and any IP conflicts or IP logs. So we'll just pause for the moment and just refresh that when we click on View Applicant, we've got the applicant's details up the top. If you've got more than one applicant, you can scroll through the top there. We've got our assigned staff and our statuses, as well as viewing as PDF. Now, on the right-hand side, we do have our Activities tab. Now, Activities tab, this is where we can add in our notes and we can also add in any status changing. When we do our status changing, you'll see the journey of the application in this particular spot. So, as I mentioned earlier, down below, we've got our new feature, which is the Generate Reference Summary. If this is something that we would like to perhaps show an owner, or if we wanted to add it into our activity so that we can quickly have a look at that, we can simply copy this information, add it down below and paste it in. And if we click Visible to Owner and Add, if you do generate owner summary PDFs, whatever you have in this box that says Visible to Owner, your owners can see that. You can click on the three dots where you can edit that information or delete it or hide from the owner or pin it up to the top. When you're adding in notes, you could put, for example, currently waiting further info and click add. Now, if I add this note, it doesn't show that it's visible to owner, meaning the owner won't see that. If I need to flag something, I can click on flag and I can write what I need to flag. So need more information, waiting on tenant, excuse my spelling, and click save. If I come to my streamline view and I just refresh my page, a couple of things that you can see within the application streamline view. So firstly, I can see that I've flagged this application now. So if someone is away, for example, and you're not quite sure where they're up to with the application, and you wanted to quickly come and see where you're at with the application, I can quickly see that something's been flagged. I can also hover over the notes section and I can view the last 5 notes within the application. So again, you can quickly see your notes there and you can see if something has been flagged. On the right, we do have our tasks and warnings tab. So I believe in the old UI, this was right at the top. This is where you're now seeing it on the right-hand side. And if I click on tasks, I can tick off once I've verified the information, and you do have the ability, as we mentioned earlier on in this session, that you can add additional tasks if you like. We also have our warnings. So our warnings are now located in this right-hand side section of the application. Okay, now let's have a look and see if there's any other questions there that might need answering. If not, that's fine. I'm sure our hosts and panel are onto it all. So we might have a poll and start with a poll now because we are going to work through our owner submissions. So I'll just grab that poll and let's okay. So let me bring up the poll for you. And the next question I'm going to ask you is how many of you on the call submit your applications from to apply to your owners? So I'm just about to launch that. I love this interactive poll because I can see all the numbers increasing and increasing rapidly, which is great. Okay, fantastic. So we've got a lot of you on the call that do actually submit your applications to your owners, which is fantastic. So 53% of you do. We've got a couple of you, 27%, that says no, but tell me more, which I'm excited to tell you more about. And there's 20% of you that didn't know that you could do that. So that's really awesome. Thank you for participating in that. I'm going to end that poll now. And let's talk about submitting your applications to your owners. I'll just share my screen. And we'll get started on that. Okay. Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm just going to click out of this and just refresh my page. We're going to talk about the comparison status of the application. And basically what the compare status of the application is if I've got these two applicants, so let me just go into Jane Smith. The one last thing I need to do, and what I didn't talk about, which I apologize, is the mark as checked. So once you've finished processing the application, we want to mark it as checked. We know that we've done everything that we needed to do. And now we want to submit this application to the owner. So we've marked it as checked. We've got this note here that's visible to owner. And we might want to write another note to the owner, giving them a summary of the application. So we might put here, Jane, currently working at XYZ. I won't make this long-winded. Earns XYZ, punctual. I shouldn't write punctual because I know when people are watching me, I can't spell. I can spell, I can just assure you, but this is what happens when I know people are watching me. But has great work ethic, and then you might put here great rental history, pays rent on time. Now, obviously, you would want to know what you want to write to your owner there, but if you click visible to owner and add, whatever is visible to the owner when we create these comparisons, this is what they're going to see. The other great thing and note that I want to make in regards to the activity log is it's really important, if you can think about when we talked about the streamline view earlier, why it's important to make notes within the notes section is because if I flag and hover over, and I wanted to see any notes that were in the previous application. They're all going to be stored in this activity section. So just something to be mindful of there. So we've got this visible to owner for this particular application. I might change my status to with owner because now we're going to submit the application to the owner, and we want to let the tenant know that that's what we're doing. Just refresh my screen. You can see that this is checked and it was also flagged. But these are the two applications that I'd like to submit to the owner. So we're going to do the compare comparison. So in the streamline view, just select the applications you would like to submit to the owner. You could have 3 or 4 of them if you liked. And then come down to this little compare button. Now, earlier on, I mentioned in your setting, under the application comparison, you can have this set up where you can always show particular items to your owners. But if you're in this section, and you probably are familiar with this has not changed under the edit button. If you would like to turn off something for owners to view, you can turn it off and click refresh. So I'm just being mindful of those people who have not seen this particular screen before. Those who have seen it and have used it, nothing has really changed on this aspect. We do have this little external button here. Now, your owner needs to be in the system, okay, in order for you to submit the application. So nothing of that has changed. If I click next, we do have the ability to add anything, particularly within this screen, and click send and click OK. So that's how you do the compare comparison app. So in the streamline view, select the application you would like and then click on that compare section there. If we would like to send just this one PDF to the landlord, we can click on the 3 dots. So this is where we would do that now and create the owner summary. You do have the ability in this section to include or remove from this particular section, and then down below, generate your PDF. So this is the PDF that we were going to send to our owners, and you can see here what we've written to the owner. Save and send PDF. So we're now going to send this to our owner. So you'd be familiar that not a lot has changed in terms of those features there. They're still available for you. It's just in a new location. For those who have not seen this process, I will continue to show you this section here. So this is what your landlord will receive. They've received the application PDF that we've created for them. You can see the notes. Again, you can go in the back end and set this up once. The landlord has the ability to approve and decline the application. We'll just wait for that to load. And then the owner has the ability to select that they agree to the information here, and they would click approve or decline, which I will do in a moment. I'll just show you what the compare comparison app looks like on an owner's view. So this is the first one that we did where we compared the application. Again, nothing's changed in terms of the old UI to the new UI on how you create these and what they're seeing. But for those who have not seen that, we will demonstrate now the next steps. We'll just wait for this to load. I might just have a look at the chat and see. Okay, So this was the compare comparison that we did earlier. If I scroll down, you can see the notes that have been made visible to the owner. And then the owner would click on action, agree to these terms, and then click approve. Now, you as a property manager will receive an email, but if I click back in my streamline view, I can see the owner has approved. So then I can continue on with my next steps with this application. Okay, so we're at the pointy end of this webinar. I will give a little bit of a recap for you. So lettings, applications. You will always default to this applications tab. You do have your statuses, your column chooser that you can rearrange your columns. You've got your current, all, and 90-day tab there. And if you are an office that likes to see your applications this way, you can click anywhere in the application line and it will take you to that application. You also have these three dots here where you can add an inspection. You can do the compare comparison, merge an application, hide or delete an application. If we move along to our properties tab, we have our streamline view. Again, we have our column chooser and our pin column. And if I click on the view applications, it takes me to my streamline view. We've got our connected apps. So if you wanted to see any previous applications that this tenant has made previously within your system, you can click on the application number and it's going to take you to their application. We've also got the information of the tenant here, and this obviously we've checked it and flagged it, but you've got how many pets, adults, children, the affordability ratio, the ages of the apps. You can quickly see the status of the applications and where we are at with their references and if we need to resend references. We have our notes where we can see the last 5 notes within the application. We've also got our heart, which will shortlist any applications. We have our 3 dots to the right. You can view as PDF from this section. You can add notes and you can create an owner summary or delete the app completely. To view the app, simply just click View App. Up on the top, we will have all of the application information if there's more than one applicant up on the top. And then we've got our icons here that we can work through. If we need to send or resend any applicants, we can. We've got their living history and the generate reference summary, their living history, identification, any pets, vehicles, personal and emergency references. So as we go down, everything all is in one section. If I click up on any of these icons, it will also take me directly there. To the right-hand side, we've got assigning the staff members and working through any of your statuses. Now I'll mark this tenant as waiting payment. Now I do have my system actually integrated with Console. If you don't have that, then do not worry about that. You won't see this. But if you are integrated with our Console product, the beauty of this is we can send it directly to Console, which is great. It just, okay. Depending on your system settings in the back end, when you do mark it as paid, if you do have this set to when you mark it as paid, it will trigger the off list for you and you can go through and off list the property from this section simply by just clicking the off list and click on the address. So it just depends on how your system's actually configured, which none of that has sort of changed within the old to the new UI. We do have our applications our activity section here on the right hand side where you can make any notes and click visible to owner, as well as moving along to our tasks and warnings. So that concludes our webinar for today. As a reminder, you're not alone with this transition. There's always someone to help you. So we do have our help section. We do have our knowledge base, our Repeat Academy, and you also have the section where you can contact us and contact our support team. So just to give a little bit of a recap, I will just bring up my screen there. We have gone through your system and customization, your settings and messages, application processing, and submission to owner. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And if you do have any questions, again, we've got our support team that will be able to assist you in future, or you can contact us via the contact us section or have a look at our knowledge base. Would like to thank you for your time, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.